Welcome to the quick hitter version of the Mike Wise Show from Pure Hoops Media. Our featured conversation this week is with Michael Lee, senior writer for The Athletic and my good friend. And I got to say, he gives a breakdown of how important Anthony Davis is to the Lakers like no one. We don't usually talk about things that just happened, but it was such a defining moment when AD hits that three and you go from 1-1 to 2-0, and it just sucked the life out of Denver. Now, they never die. But, I mean, I just feel like this Laker team, even when they're missing, even when LeBron's subpar, they're so big and they got so much depth.
No, they got AD.
Well,
that's what they got.
That's true.
No, for real. Like, I've never seen a player have the type of season that he has that's been has so little fanfare. I mean, it says a lot to LeBron's greatness that is just completely lost in the shadows. But, like, this guy had one of the most incredible seasons that we've ever seen. In terms of like player efficiency rating, I mean, he's just below Giannis. I mean, he led the team in scoring, rebounding, blocks, steals, offensive win shares, defensive win shares, and
he finished what in the MVP voting?
Didn't get a single MVP vote. I mean, he didn't get a single MVP vote. And and he had this incredible year, finished second in defensive player of the year. But all we heard like after game one when he had 37 points was, "Hey LeBron, how do you feel about not winning MVP?" I'm like, this guy just had 37, and no one asked him a single question about the game. Can you imagine a player who demanded a trade out of a city, and asked to play in LA and dealt with that kind of pressure to go to a championship organization? After a real ugly departure from a city the town that's never won anything in the NBA, and to go to LA and to play it the way he has, and to not get any kind of credit for any of their success. I mean, people forget, like, the Lakers missed the playoffs last year, and LeBron was on that team.
The Lakers haven't been to the playoffs in 6 years.
No. LeBron was on the team that missed the playoffs last year. He came back healthier this year, and AD came here, but like they weren't the number one seed in the West when LeBron got hurt last year. They're the number one team. They got a Hall of Famer. Like, this guy.
And he weathered all this, and he got killed tonight by Charles Barkley. Did you see this?
I heard about it, but yeah,
it's unbelievable. You can't, we like Chuck, like he'll say outlandish stuff, but he was dead serious that he, his thought about AD was Kobe and Michael would kill you to win a game, but AD just, he's just too nice a guy, and he's just too nice. And it was the whole, it was sort of like how we switch narratives up depending on whether it fits us or not. Like, for instance, Kawhi went from the solid leader that, led by example to, man, the guy don't say anything when things are going bad. They need somebody to speak up and shake throw the clubhouse table over. And so I don't know. The guy's the best big man in the game. As much as I love Jokic's skill, there's nobody more effective. And you could make an argument that he should have been a legitimate MVP candidate.
There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. I mean, like I said, the numbers that he put up. I mean, I think the fact that he's deferred to LeBron, and that's something that's not really discussed either. I remember talking to AD earlier this year, and I was doing a story about, like, players, just ask them who did you look to as your measuring stick when you were growing up? Like, who was the player that you compete against, either AAU, college, high school, whatever, that pushed you? And he said that, I always looked up to LeBron. Like he was the guy I always looked up to. That's why he wore number 23, because he looked up to LeBron. Like, he can't believe that he's playing with him. So he has like a certain level of deference to LeBron that makes it all work, right? Because when he played with Kyrie Irving, Kyrie didn't really want to give it up to LeBron like that. Kyrie felt like, I'm on equal footing and I need to be treated the same way. Like, I'm just as good. Like, why doesn't anybody recognize that? Get me out of here, right? So
that's a great point. The deference he shows to LeBron lets him, because LeBron is it's got to be about him.
It does.
It's got to be about his camp, and it's got to be about LeBron James Incorporated. And AD is the perfect second guy, basically, to say, you know what, you want to be the number one guy? Fine. In some ways it works like Clay and Steph. Neither one of them care who wins it, except the difference between them is they don't want the spotlight like LeBron.
Yeah, AD doesn't want the spotlight. I mean, he can't handle it. He doesn't have the personality for it, right?
Yeah.
And he doesn't have like the kind of demeanor that, you know, people just like, he walks up and you just say, oh, I gotta listen to what AD has to say. You don't really care what he has to say. You just want to see him go out there and perform.
Right.
So it works because LeBron, you know, he loves the spotlight. He loves the attention. He needs it. He feeds off of all of that. And so playing with a guy who can kind of take all that pressure off of AD where he can just focus has been a perfect situation for him. And like I said, like normally, and it works for LeBron too, right? I mean,
Yeah.
like I said, he scored 37 after his conference finals debut. Like that's amazing to score 37 in conference finals. He sat down and said, "Oh man, LeBron should have been MVP." And it's like, AD, you just had 37 in the conference finals.
If you'd like to hear more from Michael Lee of The Athletic, check out the full version of the Mike Wise Show from Pure Hoops Media. You can also see the video version of the Quick Hitter on the Pure Hoops Media YouTube channel. Yes, we have a YouTube channel.